So I went around my house and I found a couple things that I had lying around that I could use as a massage tool. And the first one that I found is just a simple screwdriver. Please don't use the pointy end, and be careful not to jab yourself with that part. But this handle, the handle part, is great to use on trigger points, or you can use it to go across muscles, like such as your forearm muscles. You can push across these muscles as you rotate your hand in, and that'll really help get some of those knots out. Or trigger points in your neck, it's really good for that. And I find that this end of the handle works well as a place to hold on to when you get your pressure. So you can poke around and find a good area to sit on for a few minutes till it releases. See, if I just use my fingers on these areas, I'm not getting as much pressure as I could definitely take, but with the tool, it's gonna give me way more pressure, and I can definitely feel it a lot more. And then I also have this tool here. There's a little groove here for your spine, and people will tend to use it on the wall or on the floor, so they can roll out those nice muscles there. So you can make one at home using an old sock, an old tube sock, and 2 tennis balls. And how you're going to do it is put the 2 tennis balls in the sock here, and push them down till about the middle. That way you can have something to grab onto when you're doing it. So once you get those 2 tennis balls into the middle, you can tie off the ends. Pull it nice and tight. All right. And then there you have it. It's basically the same thing. It doesn't get as deep pressure because it's not as hard, but it can definitely give you some good pressure. You can use it on the floor like a foam roller if you want deeper tissue, or you could just use it on the wall, and that'll be just fine as well. You can play around with it, use it on the side of your body. It feels really good on the lats and the subscap in there. So really, wherever you can find a place to use this, you always hear people telling you to use a foam roller. But if you don't have a foam roller, you could use a water bottle. And please don't use glass. I don't want it crushing underneath you. Use something that can actually withstand your weight. But you could use like a rolling pin, a baseball bat, anything that you can find that could support your weight and that you can roll against. And you would use it the same way that you would use a foam roller. And there are definitely a lot of YouTube videos as well on how to use a foam roller correctly. If you don't have any of that stuff, you can just use the edge of a wall and push that up against knots that you have in your back. And you can add range of motion. That way it will further help release that muscle there. You can lean up against your glutes, kind of push them out. What you're gonna just try to do is push your muscles away from your bones. Now this last one, I'm sure everyone has, and I would only recommend this to people who maybe are used to self-massage a little bit more, because it can be kind of intense. But I just use a simple spoon here, and it can be used for a technique called gua sha. It's also known as spooning, coining, scraping, and it is traditional Chinese medicine that is used to remove qi, or stagnant energy that is blocking the flow. They traditionally would use a soup spoon, the kind of spoon that you would eat like egg drop soup with. But I don't have that spoon, so just a regular kitchen spoon would be fine. And what gua sha does is it causes little superficial blood vessels to burst, and that is called petechiae. You may be sore the next day, and it may take a couple of days to completely heal, but don't worry, your body is working through it. Just be patient with your body. It also can help reorganize adhesions and help your lymph flow which can increase your immune system. And then if you do this one, please make sure to drink a lot of water. And you can do this on any part of the body where you feel muscle soreness, adhesions, or even energy blockages. But you will want to use oil for this. You can use coconut oil, olive oil, or lotion. And I'm gonna do it on my neck because that's where I get all of my adhesions and that's where most of my muscle tightness is. But you can use it anywhere. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of oil here and start putting it around the area that I'm gonna work on. And now that that's all oiled up, you can take your spoon now and go in one directional strokes towards the heart. So on the neck, I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna scrape down. If you were to do like your bicep or something, you would wanna scrape up because that's gonna be towards your heart. Only use as much pressure as you can take. So you can start soft and then build up to more pressure. So I'm just gonna go along the muscle and start going down. And then you'll see it starting to get a little bit red, and eventually you'll see some little broken vessels in there. So if you can see it, it's starting to get a little bit, you can see that redness in there. You can keep going, or you can stop there. You can always add extra oil if you need more, if it starts pulling. And you might even feel a little bit of like crunchies in there. And if you keep doing it, eventually it won't be it'll be a lot more smooth when you push down. You won't feel it catching on knots and crunchies. So you can really do that anywhere, and as long as you scrape towards the heart. That's gonna be the big key there. So I'll give you a little demonstration on my bicep here as well. I'm just gonna scrape up. Might take a little bit longer for some areas because maybe it has a little bit more blockage in there. I'm gonna do the same thing until you see those little blood vessels and petechiae starting to happen. And then now after you do that, it's important to flush it out. You want to calm the area down after doing something like that. And then again, I'll remind you to drink a lot of water if you do that. If the next day it feels sore, kind of lightly, softly flushing the area, or doing some stretches, or even just like micro movements. All right, well, those are the things that I found around my home. So I hope you'll be able to use one of those.